The stars hung in the endless night like scattered gems, glinting over the gleaming city of Lumeria, a hub of interstellar civilization. Its towers pierced the clouds, reflecting the cold light of distant suns. Amidst this alien grandeur, a single figure moved with grace and caution. A young princess of the Lumerian race, known for their delicate features, iridescent skin, and eyes that shimmered with starlight. She carried herself with poise, but the tension in her shoulders betrayed her unease. Her name was Liara. Despite the calm and elegance expected of her station, she had felt a growing threat within her realm. Whispers of rebellion, rogue mercenaries, and intergalactic pirates reached her ears daily. The palace guards were skilled, but Liara understood that brute force alone could not guarantee her safety. She needed someone unpredictable, someone whose abilities defied conventional expectations. And she had found one. Evan, a human, had come to Lumeria on a diplomatic mission. He was different from the alien dignitaries she had encountered. His posture was unassuming, his frame ordinary by Lumerian standards. Yet there was a quiet intensity in his gaze, a steady confidence that seemed to ripple beneath the surface. Liara had noticed it during their first meeting. While others relied on ceremonial displays, Evan relied on nothing but his presence. It was late when she approached him in the quiet courtyard, the soft glow of the bioluminescent flora casting gentle shadows across the marble paths. "Can you protect me, human?" she asked, her voice a delicate mix of curiosity and apprehension. Evan looked at her without hesitation, his expression calm. "I don't know what threats you face, but I'll do everything in my power to keep you safe." Lyra's brow furrowed slightly. The sincerity in his tone was unmistakable, yet she could not fully trust appearances. In her experience, humans were fragile, limited in strength compared to the Lemurians or other advanced races. Yet something about him stirred cautious hope. The first test came sooner than either of them expected. A commotion erupted near the northern gates. Alarms rang, their piercing tones echoing across the palace grounds. Lyra's personal guards rushed forward, but Evan moved faster, as if instinct alone guided him. The threat was a small group of mercenaries, attempting to infiltrate the palace under the cover of darkness. To any observer, the humans would have been no match for the Lemurians, but Evan's movements were precise and fluid. With a single motion, he disarmed one of the intruders, sending him sprawling. He moved like a storm, dodging, striking, and using the environment to his advantage. Liara watched in awe as he subdued the attackers, his strength and agility far beyond what she had imagined possible. By the time the palace security joined, the intruders were already incapacitated. Lyra's eyes widened. "I didn't know humans could be like that." Evan merely shrugged, brushing the dust from his uniform. "Most don't, but some have trained for survival beyond what others think is possible." Over the next few days, Liara observed him more closely. He was quiet but attentive, always scanning the surroundings, reading threats before they became imminent. His presence alone seemed to deter trouble. She began to feel a strange sense of security, an unfamiliar comfort in his silent vigilance. It was not long before the stakes grew higher. Intelligence reports indicated that a larger mercenary force planned to attack the palace, targeting the princess herself. The council debated strategies, defensive grids, and countermeasures. But Liara had made her choice. "Evan," she said one evening as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in streaks of violet and gold, "I want you with me. No one else. Can you handle it?" He met her gaze steadily. "I can, and I will." The attack came swiftly, as predicted. The mercenaries struck under the cover of a solar storm that disrupted communications and power systems. Chaos erupted across the palace as alarms failed and guards were forced to act without guidance. Amidst the confusion, Lyara and Evan moved through secret passages, the princess relying on Evan's instincts more than her own guards. They emerged in a secluded chamber, just as the first wave of intruders breached the main hall. Evan assessed the situation with a calmness that belied the danger. Lyra's heart pounded, fear threatening to overwhelm her. But his presence steadied her. "You'll be safe," he murmured, more to himself than to her, though his words carried a weight that made her believe it. When the mercenaries reached them, Evan acted with precision. He moved faster than the eye could follow, intercepting attacks, disarming foes, and using their own momentum against them. Each strike was calculated, leaving opponents incapacitated without lethal force. Lyara watched, unable to hide her astonishment. After the immediate threat was neutralized, the princess realized something remarkable. Evan's strength was not just physical. It was a combination of discipline, strategy, and unyielding resolve. He had mastered his limitations and transformed them into an advantage, turning what others might consider a weakness into an unparalleled strength. In the aftermath, as the palace assessed the damage and restored order, Lyara found herself alone with him once more. She studied his calm demeanor, the way he cleaned minor scratches from his uniform without complaint, and the quiet confidence that seemed to radiate from him. "You're stronger than anyone I've ever met," she said softly, a mix of admiration and disbelief in her voice. Evan looked at her and smiled faintly. Strength comes in many forms. Sometimes it's not the size of the body, but the determination of the mind and heart. Lyara felt a warmth in her chest, a feeling that went beyond gratitude. In a universe filled with threats and uncertainty, she had found someone who could face anything and protect her. And in that moment, she understood that strength was not only a measure of power, it was also the courage to stand unwavering in the face of danger. Days turned into weeks, and life in the palace slowly returned to normal. Yet Lyra's perspective had shifted. She had learned to trust a human in ways she had never imagined, recognizing the potential for greatness in a species often underestimated. The bond between them grew, built on mutual respect and trust forged through trials. Lyara observed him not as a subordinate or a tool for protection, but as a partner whose abilities and character challenged her understanding of strength. She began to see him in a new light, acknowledging the humanity that complemented his remarkable skill. One evening, while overlooking the city from the palace balcony, Lyara spoke again. "I never imagined a human could protect me like this, or that I would feel this safe in someone's presence." Evan stood beside her, his gaze following hers as he took in the expanse of Lumeria bathed in starlight. "Humans adapt. We face challenges we don't fully understand, and we survive. That is our strength." Lyara turned to him, eyes shining. "I see it now. You're more than I could have imagined, more than I dared to hope." He smiled gently, the corners of his eyes crinkling in a way that made her heart flutter. "And you are braver than anyone I've ever known, facing threats and expectations, yet remaining yourself. That is also strength." In the months that followed, Evan continued to prove himself, not only as a protector, but as a figure of inspiration. Rumors spread among the Lumerian elite about the human who could move with unmatched skill, who could outthink seasoned warriors, and who seemed invincible despite his ordinary appearance. Lyara remained steadfast beside him, her trust unwavering, her respect profound. The universe beyond Lumeria remained unpredictable, with conflicts, alliances, and dangers constantly shifting. Yet with Evan by her side, Lyara faced each day with confidence. She understood now that strength was not confined to form, species, or expectation. It was the will to rise, the clarity to act, and the courage to protect what mattered most. One evening, as the twin moons rose above the horizon, casting a soft silver glow over the palace gardens, Lyara turned to Evan, "There is something I must admit," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I underestimated you. And perhaps I underestimated humans." Evan's expression remained calm, but a faint smile tugged at his lips. "Perhaps. But now you know the truth." Liara nodded, a mixture of humility and admiration in her eyes. "Yes, and I will never doubt you again." He reached out, gently taking her hand. "And I will never let anything happen to you." As they stood together beneath the twin moons, the city of Lumeria sprawling beneath them, Liara felt an unshakable certainty. The human beside her was not just a protector. He was a symbol of hope, a testament to the hidden strength that lay within beings often underestimated. And in that truth, she found a profound sense of peace. For the first time in her life, Liara realized that protection was not merely about walls or weapons. It was about the courage to stand unwavering, the wisdom to act decisively, and the heart to care deeply. Evan embodied all of these qualities, proving that true strength transcended species, appearances, and expectation. And in that knowledge, she smiled. The stars above seemed to shine brighter that night, as if acknowledging the bond between a princess and the human who had shown her the boundless potential of strength, loyalty, and courage. And as Liara gazed at him, she knew that no threat, no danger, and no force in the galaxy could shake the certainty she now felt, that together they could face anything. And the universe itself might one day recognize the remarkable power of a human heart.